What if I told you, ladies and gentlemen, that the year's most explosive battle happened in a hospital ward rather than a boxing ring? "You Stole Him" was screamed by IV nurses during the main event, Claressa Shields versus Remy Ma. You heard right. Leaked video shows Claressa's Shield barging into Remy Ma's hospital room, yanking her by the wrist, and accusing her on tape of taking Papoose in what may have been the most bizarre moment in hip-hop history. Did I mention that Remy Ma had a relationship with a cardiac monitor? What caused Claressa to lose it is the question. Even in her hospital bed, what secret was Remy keeping hidden? In front of patients, nurses, and a wide-eyed janitor who now has 200K followers on TikTok, why did security remain still during the altercation? The video has been released, and it's far worse than anyone could have predicted. We're going to present something that could blow the internet away. So ladies and gentlemen, grab some popcorn and a blood pressure monitor. Picture this, a hospital room with poor lighting. Remy Ma, not just any patient, is lying on a bed, weak, blinking, and hooked up to monitors and IVs. Outside that sterile chamber, Claressa Shields is charging down the corridor like a natural force. Her anger is louder than any title fight she has ever participated in, even if her hands are not gloved. The time is 2:47 a.m. Security is nowhere to be seen since what was about to happen couldn't be stopped. A cart crashes, a hooded man ducks past a distracted nurse in Mount-sized private wing, and the alarms flash briefly before going off. According to inside sources, Claressa Shields came into the room with the elation of a woman who had just had everything taken from her and was there to get it back. Recent confirmation screenshots, voice notes, and all 9 pieces of concrete evidence indicating Papoose had been paying Remy Ma private visits, not just once, not just out of compassion, but with the goal of having a romantic relationship, had been sent to Claressa. Claressa wasn't made to keep quiet. She had stood by Papoose during his public grieving for months. Even though he cried during that beat segment, he never truly let go of Remy during the treatment and rebuilding process. With a voice and a sense of betrayal in her heart, Claressa strode in now that Remy was weak, mute, and hooked up to hospital tubes. A nurse's personal phone recorded what transpired next because, let's be honest, if there's drama, someone will record it. Without hesitation, Claressa approached Remy's bedside, leaned over her with deadly-looking eyes, and screamed the words that would make the internet go crazy. Think about it. You're lying in a hospital bed in the middle of a treatment, practically linked to heart monitors, and your ex-man's new girlfriend is accusing you of emotional warfare. Spin, even in this bed, you understood what you were doing. You stole him, and he was mine. Remy Ma remained silent, and her eyes were heavy. A nurse gasped off-screen and a monitor beeped rapidly, but Claressa insisted that she was never completely gone from your system. It wasn't a physical attack. Instead, Claressa dragged Remy mentally, emotionally, and spiritually with her comments. The worst thing was that Remy merely gazed without defending herself, without shouting or denying. It was like watching a ghost realize it had been caught haunting the wrong house, according to one nurse who witnessed it. Why did Remy lose it suddenly when it seemed like she had been waiting for this to happen, as though she knew she would ultimately have to confront Claressa? It was a meaningful night, not merely a romantic one. An hour before Claressa's arrival, Papoose had left the hospital, but he had done more than simply hold his hand. Papoose was crying when a nurse allegedly caught them in the middle of a chat and reached up to stroke his face. Claressa was able to get the video in a matter of minutes thanks to that modest, silent gesture. It was mentioned by someone inside, either to warn her or to start a riot, but she lost it and came, and now everyone is taking sides on Twitter. Action #Team Claressa is claiming that she was right to confront Remy, that loyalty matters, and that you don't get to play victim when you're the villain in someone else's story. While #JusticeForRemy is also trending, arguing that she didn't deserve to be ambushed in a hospital room, which no one does no matter the drama, and Papoose's radio silence only fuels the fire. Some truths don't need an explanation. Others think it was a warning. His last public post was a mysterious tweet 2 days before the tragedy. Although Claressa was about to discover it, it's important to remember that Ray has previously been charged with emotional manipulation. For instance, there were reports in 2022 that she was seeing Easy the Block's captain. Although she denied it at the time, followers are now discovering deleted tweets, eye-roll presents, and old interviews like digital archaeologists uncovering a pyramid of falsehoods. A particularly incriminating video of Remy being asked if she believed in unfinished love during a 2023 red carpet interview has gone viral. In addition to being dirty and unattractive, love can also result in a heated argument in a hospital room. Claressa was still shouting, "Tell the world the truth," as she left the room with guards by her side. This hospital romance wasn't only about the nurses. Within minutes of the hospital film being leaked, she was never supposed to know that one line, spoken from Remy Ma's hospital bed like a confession to the cosmos, sent shockwaves through social media. Remy's monitor flatlined after a single minute of stunned stillness, but it was enough to send nurses scrambling, turn off cameras, and erase the tape. However, not before one final word was heard, purportedly from Remy Ma, who was feeble, breathless, and hardly able to speak. That's where this story actually begins, ladies and gentlemen. Podcasts were already preparing emergency episodes, combusted TikTok creators made rapid deep dives, and Twitter timelines were being dropped. But it was Claressa Shields who completely upended the narrative. With the bare hoodie up, no filters, and no glitz, Claressa went live on Instagram less than 12 hours after the hospital altercation. The world briefly anticipated an apology, a period of introspection, and perhaps even regret, but instead they got a rhetorical hammer. "I have no regrets whatsoever." Enter that hospital room because you all want to pretend that Remy is the victim and the truth should be heard. Millions more have watched the live video, but it turns out that she has been manipulating people's emotions. Claressa claimed that for months, she had been tricked by both Papoose and Remy. When she first watched the security tape of Remy and Papoose embracing in the hospital, she even defended Remy against bitter fans and barbershop allegations. Knowing that being ill would keep her silent, Claressa exploited it as a barrier. Claressa was not done, though, as she held up her phone during the live stream and played a voice note allegedly from Papoose, whispering, "Don't be mad. It's not like I don't love you. I just need to make peace with her before it's too late." Fans tagging the actress said, "You don't confront a sick woman, and you pray for her. You support your man as he visits until you realize he isn't praying. He's reconnecting." It was impossible to ignore the headlines by morning. Papoose's final farewell to Remy Ma is revealed in Claressa Shields. Leaked voice notes result in accusations of cheating in hospital drama, and Remy exploited her illness as leverage to win Papoose back. Let's now discuss damage control. Remy Ma's camp was placed under immediate lockdown, and her spokesperson released a dry statement saying that private things were being handled offline and that she was concentrating on her recuperation. Fans, however, didn't buy it, particularly after Fat Joe unfollowed her. Uncle Joe, who had stood by Remy from the start, did indeed quietly strike. While Papoose stayed silent and only a 2017 photo of him and Remy appeared on his Instagram story without a caption or tag, just vibes and confusion, fans always noticed that unfollow button. Then, Ebro posted a mysterious tweet that said, "Real love doesn't need a McCheck." It was subtle, but the shade was undeniable. However, things get worse. An anonymous former Mount Sinai nurse contacted an independent gossip blog with real security reports, and the documents, which were time-stamped and dated, confirmed that Remy Ma's. The guest list was changed 3 times that evening, leaving everyone to question, what was in that envelope? Was it legal paperwork, a final will, or was it connected to a secret project? Remember that unreleased Remy Mokisuri, the one who removed Claressa's name from the clearing sheet, you ask? Who did you think added 50 Cent's name? What? Yes, 50 Cent was seen on CCTV entering the hospital that same evening while wearing a sweatshirt face down and being accompanied by 2 males dressed in all black. He declined to respond to inquiries from the waiting press and remained for 22 minutes, leaving a sealed packet. According to reports, 50 Cent executive-produced Resurrection, The Queen Returns, but it is currently on indefinite hold because the video they captured, which includes Remy's hospital scenes, may now prove to be proof of what fans are describing as the most disrespectful love triangle in hip-hop history. Claressa's fans, meanwhile, aren't letting this go unnoticed. A popular petition with 150,000 signatures, titled #Defend Claressa, calls for openness from the hospital, race team, and even Papoose. Was Remy a weapon? A screenshot of the Bounce Back Plan group conversation, which included Remy, her manager, and an unnamed third contact, was obtained by an anonymous person who claimed to be inside Remy's management team. The message said, "Let her come, it'll sell the story." Pause. Let her come, as in Claressa, as in the hospital confrontation was planned. According to watchers, Remy intended to record the moment she knew Claressa would arrive once the story reached its most chaotic point. Remy's career was in a weird state. The public had begun to lose interest up to this point, the music drops were erratic, and the podcast features were cool. She may have fallen into a trap now that she is the focus of attention once more, not only for drama, but also for survival, treachery, suffering, and power, as the sympathy is no longer one-sided. The fact that she ensured someone was filming showed that this was a lady producing content while dealing with a medical emergency, rather than a woman who was taken by surprise. People are starting to wonder if maybe she didn't deserve to be dragged like that while barely healing, but even that is up for debate since she shed tears throughout the altercation. Remy Ma was being tested for mental weariness rather than any physical ailment, which would indicate that she was simply exhausted and not dying or near death, according to an unverified medical report. However, she gave admirers the impression that she was rapidly disappearing, even giving them the impression that Papoose was saying goodbye. Now that Claressa is a villain, the game is entirely different. It was now confirmed to us that Claressa had set up a news conference. She is bringing screenshots, direct messages, and perhaps even unpublished surveillance footage, and she has pledged complete openness. When Claressa showed up for her scheduled news appearance with 2 lawyers, her boxing coach, and a media crew 2 days after the hospital altercation, her shields weren't faking. More importantly, given the recent confirmation, is this indeed the end? Claressa, dressed entirely in black with gold trim, stood behind the microphone, raised her chin, and did something that most famous people would never do. When she produced the receipts, a big screen behind her flashed on, and the press room fell silent. A brief but clear video then showed Papoose leaving Remy's hospital room at 1:41 a.m., kissing her hand and hugging her for nearly 30 seconds while whispering something. The first slide displayed a screenshot of a text from Papoose that read, "She still owns a piece of my soul. I'm not proud, but I'm not ready to lie anymore." The video, which was incomprehensible, showed Claressa pacing a hotel room hours before the altercation while yelling into a phone, "Nah, I don't care if she's sick. She was never supposed to win. She was never supposed to still be in the picture." The room erupted in gasps, whispers, and flashing cameras, and the internet abruptly went #cancel. Because this was no longer about heartbreak, influencers who had just insulted Claressa 2 days earlier began to backtrack as she became popular. To ride the wave, Remy's team had prepared a media timeline upload schedule and even podcast features, but they didn't expect Claressa to become so angry and confrontational. Everything went awry, and Remy appeared weaker, traumatized, and vulnerable, exactly the reverse of what she had hoped for when she made her public return. Regarding fixation and the true twist, a leaked email chain claims that Remy's manager shared the clip rather than having it covertly recorded. Claressa, who says she was gaslighted and publicly humiliated by a man she trusted and a woman she tried to protect. Remy Ma, who says she was ambushed, coerced, and used as a punching bag during a private medical crisis. and Papoose, whose silence is now being interpreted as either cowardice or guilt or both, are all swinging in different directions. You know who just walked into the chat room? 50 Cent, of course, because he can't help but become involved in other people's problems if there's anything. You guys are fighting over Pap like he dropped Get, he said in a shocking tweet. The comment section went viral as soon as the damage was done, and now legal teams are taking over. Mount Sinai issued a formal statement saying that they are reviewing internal footage, reevaluating visitor security protocols, and fully cooperating with the investigation. Rich or die trying to calm down. I'm the only one with real classics. Classic 50, he said, posting a follow-up photo of himself and Remy from an old award show with the caption, "She always had taste, just bad timing." It's a full-fledged legal battle, with courtroom cameras being requested, Netflix and Zeus Network already bidding for the documentary rights, and Papoose not speaking until late last night. Yes, there is an investigation because Remy's lawyer has officially filed a defamation and harassment claim against Claressa, and Claressa's lawyer is suing back, claiming that her client was duped into a hostile, emotionally manipulative environment by a publicity stunt meant to damage her reputation and incite violence. I tried to do right by both of them. I failed. I failed Remy, I failed Claressa, and I failed myself, he said, breaking his silence with an uncut, raw video recorded on a phone while he was sitting in his car with his hood up. I tried to do right by both of them. I failed. I failed Remy, I failed Claressa, and I failed myself. He continued, adding that neither Claressa nor Remy should have been lied to or that Remy should have died in a hospital bed with cameras pointed at her. But I didn't know how to stop the storm, so I stood in it, and now I'm drowning in it. A pause, but I love them both. I still do. Here's what we have left after the dust settles. Remy is reportedly recuperating at a private facility far from New York and is thinking of publishing a memoir called Unfinished Bars. She also plans to relaunch her podcast with a detailed account of her side of the story. The video went viral within an hour, and while some fans scolded him for emotional cowardice, it was evident that was about 3 lives divided by love, lies, and fame, and that it was no longer just about cheating. Claressa is taking a break from boxing. The world waits because, deep down, we know that this isn't over. More clips will leak, more secrets will be revealed, and when they do, we will be here, revealing every last line and hidden message you weren't supposed to. However, rumors claim that she has signed a contract with a major streaming service to share her version of events, complete with unseen footage and journal entries. Papoose, on the other hand, has vanished once more, leaving behind a playlist of breakup ballads and heartbreak hits, the first of which is, of course, Lauryn Hill's X Factor. This is what we do, ladies and gentlemen. There's a fight in the hospital, a voicemail that was leaked, a press conference that went viral, and one man who remains silent while everything around him burns. If you think this drama ends here, you've obviously never bought into the gossip spill vibe, because the secrets keep coming out even after the cameras stop rolling. Was Claressa Shields really the bad guy, or was she just another heartbroken person in the spotlight? Did Remy orchestrate the whole thing as a media comeback, or was she a pawn in someone else's twisted game? If you're addicted to the tea, the twists, and the truth that they don't want you to know, hit the like button, hit subscribe, and set up your alerts because this scandal is still ongoing, and I can assure you that you won't want to miss what comes next. More audio leaks are being investigated, new receipts are arriving, and an exclusive source claims that Remy's memoir reveals even more betrayal than we've seen so far.